Second French Empire had many important changes in history. During this period, France was modernized in all aspects. Paris obtained infrastructure works to improve its hygiene and sanitation. An aqueduct was built to supply the city with water, old markets were rebuilt, and streets were illuminated with gas lamps. These changes favor economical, social, and scientific advances, not only in France, but also in Great Britain, Germany, Austria, Russia, and Italy. After getting all this information, we got to our research question, which is what impact does the Second French Empire have on us now? After the review of our sources, we have reached to the hypothesis that due to all the civil wars and revolution, the Second French Empire, held by Napoleon, helped civilize and modernize France. During the Second French Empire, Napoleon III brought modernity and change to France. Most of the changes were political. For example, the implementation of laws, a new government, the division of powers, new ideologies, but one of the most important creations was the Constitution of 1852. This constitution was looking for democracy, which means the elections are based on the population. Thanks to this, there is a 6-year term for senators and all those in the legislative system to be chosen by the people. This constitution did not only change radically in France, but then became the base to further constitutions to be created. The France we know today is thanks to these new changes, which later evolved to be better, adapt to society's evolution, and expand to the world. Not all these laws are still followed up today. The new French laws are all based on this constitution, meaning the 1852 constitution had a great impact on today's life. Napoleon III was one of the most important figures of political history of the West. His political skills and ability to visualize the global panorama of his time aroused great interest on people and created many changes throughout the world. In the years of his rule, he wanted to resume the greatness of the French Empire. During these 2 decades, France was transformed more quickly than any other time in its history. The political system changed, hygiene and sanitation improved, cities were urbanized, and public education was restored. Its changes favored political and economic objectives and helped modernize France, which influenced other countries. Its ideas might be known as somewhat harsh and radical, but in the long term they were efficient and have made many other things led up to how we live now. During the rule of Napoleon III was when the coup d'etat happened, in December 1851. It was when Napoleon III was in power, which he declared in name of the French citizens, to change the National Assembly, suspended constitutional guarantees, recreate the laws of elections, re-establish a universal suffrage, and create a new constitution. On that time, the coup d'etat didn't have support from some of the citizens, and it was a controversial time in which had many different perspectives from other people. For example, the author Lajos Kossuth said that what Napoleon did was irrelevant on that time, said that it was a violation towards his citizens and country. On the other hand, nowadays the coup d'etat had many impacts in terms of policy and political organization. It changed the political system as an authoritarian and democratic system, which was, as it was mentioned before. It created the 3 branches of democracy: legislative, executive, and judicial, which nowadays help to establish order and rights. When a country is democratic, it has 3 branches of government. The legislative branch, it makes the law with it created by the Congress. Executive branch carries out the law which is represented by the President, and judicial branch interprets the law, which is represented by the Supreme Court. The development of the 3 branches of democracy are important because it's the system at the national level which has led to a more even distribution of power, and has given rise to an organized country with equality and established laws and rights. In terms of evolution and modernity, France had an important industrial expansion, which had a positive effect in the external commerce. With this, France entered in an era in which they started to produce more products and were forced to sell their merchandise in order to buy materials to keep producing their products. This caused the number of exportations to the capital cities increase, which helped middle social class to grow. Along with these changes, a new and more stable economy was established. Also, the railroad network was finished, which helped not only as a new way to transport merchandise, but also as a new way of communication. France became a more modern country because it started developing more. Some changes were that the Second French Empire increased the number of workers employed, which later constituted the modernization of the French capital. This event covered all the domains of urbanism, both in the capital, as in the neighborhoods, streets and boulevards, green spaces, urban furniture, and water supply. Also, the development of an industrial economy as coal and steam power came, which are part of an important power source of an industrial society. The steam was used in factories, mines, locomotives, and steamboats. The steam power allowed the factories to be located anywhere. These industrial advances reflect that during this time, France became a more modernized and civilized country.